Hi everyone, myself Ayush. Today I talk about Vale sudbury smelter contamination. So first we talk about the introduction. Uh, I will be presenting on the Vale sudbury smelter contamination, a major environmental case study on Ontario, the region globally known for both the scale of its pollution and the massive regretting efforts that follow. And my presentation will walk you through the background of the issues, the geotechnical environmental factors, and contribute to the contamination and the impact, and finally the remediation actions take over the years. So first we talk about the background. So mining and smelting activities in Sudbury began more than 100 years ago, and we mainly focused on nickel and copper production. And however, during the early to mid 1990s, so environmental regulation were weak and non-existent, and as a result, the smelter released huge amount of sulfur dioxide and heavy metal directly into the atmosphere. And these emissions settled into the soil, lakes, vegetation, and become a severe dead Sudbury we often compared to a moonscape because the land looked barren and lifeless. And if we talk about the geotechnical and environmental factors, so several natural and human-made factors made the contamination in Sudbury. First, the region soils the naturally the acidic and the low in buffering capacity. The mean they cannot neutralize the pollutants and effectively, so metal easily become mobile and speed into water systems. Second, the soil also have a high permeability and which allows contamination to travel quickly down into groundwater. And third is large area of exposed bedrocks created rapid runoff instead of being absorbed. Polluted water moved across the surface and collected in lakes. High permeability. And another major factor was wind. Strong winds carried sulfur dioxide far from sources. Effective areas will outside Sudbury. And finally, the smelters early low height stacks deposited heavy metals locally. Later construction of the famous Supertex, one of the tallest industrial chimneys in the world. Those spread pollutants over much wider. And next, continued my partner Aditya Punia.
Hi. Impacts the environmental effects were extremely severe. Over the 20,000 hectares of the forest were destroyed due to the acid rain and metal toxicity. More than 7,000 lakes become acidified, losing fish population and aquatic biodiversity. The soil quality degraded rapidly, resulting in erosion and long-term losses of nutrients. Wildlife population declined, including fish, insects, and even the plant species unable to survive in the contaminated soil. There were also humans and economic consequences impacting on drinking water, land usability, agriculture, tourism, and community health. Sudbury became one of the most environmental damaged region in the country. Uh, Remediation efforts. Despite the scale of the damage, Sudbury is now known worldwide for the most successful environmental recovery projects. The community scientists and the local government collaborated on the massive regreening program. Lime was added to the soil to neutralize the acidity, and millions of the trees were planted to rebuild the forest cover. Lakes were also restored by reducing the emission and improving the water chemistry. Over the years, the whale significantly upgraded the smelting technology, reducing the sulfur dioxide emission by 90% and eventually shut down the superstack. Biodiversity has returned to many areas, and Sudbury is considered a strong example of environmental restoration after the industrial pollution. In conclusion, the Whale Sudbury case highlights how industrial activities, when combined with the vulnerable geotechnical conditions, can be cause widespread environmental destructions. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
These are our references.
These are our references.